what's up? Somebody give me a 5 for 5 and we'll get going. See what's popping. Hope everybody's having a good one. I hope everybody that didn't catch the live stream last night to please do so. I think Tommy's going to post it on his channel also. So I would rather you guys watch it over there. He's still trying to get to his 4,000 hour mark, and any little bit helps. I got, I'm fully supporting what he's doing over there, and I really would love people to get over there, even if you just do it as a favor to me and go over there and just say, hey, check it out. Because you don't have to be like in recovery or anything like that to get stuff out of that. It's more about living your best life and all those kinds of things. So you'll learn a lot about addiction and things like that, but also life stuff. I just think it's a good place, and I really think that you guys would really enjoy being over there. A lot of you already are, and thank you for that, guys. So we're just trying to push that forward and get it, get that going out, because that's a positive thing. So I really do hope that everybody does that. Take that for what it's worth, and hopefully you guys will. And so we're just get moving on here. I went ahead and I did a hey Christine, what's going on? You've been putting out some killer stuff, by the way. I have to say that, guys. Christine's been doing a really good job with her videos she's been making. She put some music with some photography, and she usually does stuff on the beach, and it's really cool. So please go over and check it out. Christine, drop your link in there if you want. Hey, Joanna, what's up? What's going on, Anna? I think I've seen Axe was in here. I think George is in here. If I missed anybody else, I am sorry. Vicky, Andy, Surgery. Thank you, mods. By the way, yesterday I know we had a couple of little hiccups there, but you guys handled it well, and I think that, again, we do what we do, right? And you guys are doing an awesome job. So, with that being said, let's get into it. Now, we got the Schumann here, guys. It's not doing a whole lot. Again, yes, there is some uptick here. But, it's like it's taking a break. I don't know what's going on here, but it definitely does, at least over here in Russia. So, what too long ago, we were talking about, 24 to 48 hour long events. And then it would take a break for a minute and then do it again. And so, I don't know what has changed or whatever. And I can say this, our solar activity has picked up. So typically when that happens, this actually reacts. So I don't know. I really don't know what to go, where to go with that one. So, but you can see it right there. Now, over here at Spaceweather Prediction Center, and yes, we'll get into that photograph in my thumbnail. That was that was one of the most amazing things I've ever seen. And again, we'll get into that in just a second. But as you can see here on over here at NOAA Space Weather Prediction Center, hey Fly, what's up? Joanne, what's up? X in the house. Ariel, what's happening? Hey Nicole, good to see you, girl. What's happening? I ain't seen you in a minute. Good job. Hope you're doing well. Okay. Anyway, quit being a squirrel, Wages. Hey mods, you gotta tell me. Squirrel, squirrel, squirrel. Focus. Anyway, so you got the flares, and that's what these x-rays are, obviously. Now, we had a couple M-class flares. There was actually an M-class flare here that was the biggest one that happened during the daily dropout there where the Earth passes between the satellite and the sun. So, hey, Bubba News, what's happening? But then you got, we've had other flares after that. This is a C-class. Now, remember, guys, we didn't have big eruptions with these flares. The eruptions that came with them, the plasma that left the sun, they were relatively weak. And most of them are missing us, but they are forecasting at least a fairly good chance of us catching a glancing blow from one, and I'll show that to you here in just a second. But our geomagnetic activity, right? So what are you looking at there? Well, let's just do this. We almost got into storm level back here on the 23rd. But it kind of just tapered back off. But what's happened is, guys, we've entered into a solar wind stream, and it is definitely it's on the uptick right now, but it's been consistent since about back here. It was kind of fluctuating a little bit, but we're in a coronal hole stream, and we'll look at that a little bit deeper here in a few minutes. But this coronal hole here is what the leading edge of it is what we're feeling now, because when it was back here, obviously the Earth is kind of right here in the middle, pretty much right at the equatorial line of the sun. So, it varies kind of north to south depending on what time of year you're in, but we're just going to call it the center just for lack of trying to dig into it a little bit more instead of getting too deep. But as you can see, this is substantial. Anybody that's been around for a minute knows that that's substantial. That's a fairly decent size coronal hole. Plus, we got the northern coronal hole reaching down towards the equator. Now, this happens from time to time, and when it does, and we connect to this one, that really does, and it can give us some pretty good bumps geomagnetically, especially if we're already having issues. And I call them issues. It's really not issues. If we're having activity, okay, that's a better word. So anyway, you can see NOAA's prediction. So you're seeing right here on the 25th, these are the conditions they say were going to happen, or are going to happen. They've already plotted this 3 here, but obviously they were off by 1 there. But, again, it's here or there. It's not off that much. So, but as we get into the 26th, you're going to see that they're starting to talk about geomagnetic storms. They're even saying a possibility of a G2 now up here on the 27th. Now, a quick way to look at that is just to go up here and toggle these arrows over. See how the box changed here? That's G1. Now, these would be maximum conditions at the peak of what we would expect that day. Okay? G2. See that? So, whether it comes to fruition, that's, it's one of those things. This is another glancing blow type of situation. But the bigger story is the coronal hole. Okay? So if we look at it here on the NOAA in-little spiral model, this big, deep, dark red color you're seeing is the wind speed itself. Okay? So when you see the reds and it starts to get up in the whites and even black sometimes, that is your faster solar wind. This is not CME or flare. You see the arc? That was the CME, or the flare with the CME accompanying it. And it was more so it almost looked like a filament. I'm not sure if it was exactly a filament, but you can see them. They're popping off here. See how they fan out? Classic signature. But you see how it's kind of giving us a glancing blow? So that's why they're not really saying that, if we took that head on, it was relatively weak anyway, but if we took that dead on, that might give us a little bit extra of a hit. Now, I don't usually show you guys the A-stat anymore because Discover's way better, but you can even see on here how the speed's starting to pick up. What's normal speed? Remember, guys, it's 300 to 500 kilometers a second. Okay, so they're starting to show, they changed this depending on how fast the wind is. So usually this sits at about 2 to 400, or even 3 to 500 is the whole graph. So they've had to change it so they could plot it. And you can see how it's kicking up to 600. That's 100 kilometers a second over what we would consider a normal wind speed. Aurora, they've been kind of bouncing around a little bit today. So obviously, did you see that? Now I think that might have been a jump in time. Let's check. Nope. That wasn't. So what happened there is we weren't getting any action, and then we took a hit. Bam. See that? That's the northern lights. So again, this is one of the good markers we can look at to see if we're actually experiencing geomagnetic activity. Now this would be up towards high latitudes, and what that means is the closer you get to the north or south pole, if you're traveling away from the equator, things are becoming at a higher and higher latitude, your perspective. no matter if you're in the southern hemisphere or the northern hemisphere. That's how they word it. That's the definitions that they use. So this is up towards higher latitudes where our magnetic field is not as strong, and things get in easier that way. Okay? So, anyway, let's move on. This is the magnetopause model. Okay? This is basically, for very basic terms, our magnetic field and its protection it gives Earth. This is the bow shock, basically. It's not exact. This is just representing difference of speed, right? That's why it says velocity. So when you see this, you got speed, the sun's over here and it's going this way. And yeah, we're into the red colors. And we haven't seen that quite a bit here as of late. Typically, it's kind of an oranger color, and it goes to the speed of it, right? So if we go down here, well, I guess I could have pushed play, couldn't I? See how it's kind of orange color right now? And then watch. See how the waves start coming in? So, and back here it's typically slower because our magnetic field is protecting us, and it does slow things down. That's right, Axe. Cool cats, baby. Hey, Brittany. Kilroy, what's happening? D, what's up? Eternal Soul, what's happening? All right. So, down here on the density, typically, if you got faster solar wind speed, you got lower density because it's pushing things out. So, what you're seeing here is that exact thing. That's why outside of our bow shock, it's more dense. Inside, lower dense. So, as I grab this, we'll just move it back. Just like that. Okay? So, this is magnetic pressure. And that's what most people understand the most, because we all understand pressure. I say that about every time I show you guys this, but I do that for the benefit of the newer people, guys. So sorry. But anyway, you got that, right? And it's not really that excessive. We've seen it way more. So let's go here. Now, this is SDO, right? I'm going to show you where SDO is at. You guys can come over here to SDO. That's all you got to do. Type in SDO on Google, and you'll go right there. You come down here to the AIA, HMI, browse data. You enter your date. You select what view you want. And then you can change the resolution. You can see how many images you want to see per however minute with NTH. Yeah. So then you can hit submit. Hit submit, and this is what will happen. There's your images. This is SDO. This is what we call geosynchronistic orbit, basically. Okay, so what's happening is, this is the pattern at which this satellite is moving. It's a figure 8. Now, they do that for a specific reason. I'm not going to go into that right now. But as you can tell, it stays over the same part of our planet at all times. Okay? That's why it's geosynchronistic orbit. That's what they call that. It's orbiting in a fashion that it stays in the same spot in relation to our planet down here on the surface, right? So that's what this satellite's doing. But as it's making this figure 8, it's also rotating on the other axis like this, so it can keep its eye on the sun. So when this is kind of getting close to the dark side of the planet, where the Earth can kind of come between it, that's when you get the eclipses, right? It's not eclipsing from the Earth's point of view. It's the Earth is actually doing the eclipsing between the satellite and the sun, just by its perspective. Okay? So that's the position SDO is in. I haven't shown that in a minute, so I figured I'd do that for you guys. Now here's the 211. It's the purple view. And again, this one here shows the coronal holes really, really well. It's one of the better, in my opinion, it's probably the best one to look at when you're looking at coronal holes. Hey, Tommy, what's up? But as you can see here, guys, look. Now, we know that these northern and southern coronal holes stay there all the time. They just don't typically start going down towards the equatorial regions. So, what is a coronal hole? Well, it's exactly what it means. the corona is basically the atmosphere of the sun. So when you have a hole in that coronal hole, what that does is it allows plasma to spew right out of there. And it travels on that connection line, that road between us and the sun. It's magnetic. We're connected to the sun magnetically. What's plasma? Plasma is charged gas. It has a charge. Just like a magnet has a positive and a negative. That's how the solar wind gets here. It has to travel that road. Okay? So that's why we talk about it in this way. So you see this. Now remember, guys, here's that bigger coronal hole that we're getting the wind stream from right now. But I guarantee you we are actually connected to this one now too. It's too far south towards the equatorial region for us not to be. And also, if you look real close here, looks like we got another one opening up here. I've seen the coronal hole get so big that basically the north and south grew together. Okay, you would have to go back some time to see that on this tool, but you can do that. And that it does give us a substantial blow when that happens. We will get geomagnetic activity like crazy then. It just happens that way. So, that's the 211. Now we can take a look at, we're also having flares. We're having, again, CMEs that I showed you guys. We'll take a look at the 94 because this will show the flares really well. Now I started this time lapse on the 23rd. So this is like since the 23rd to now. So you're seeing all the little pops and flares. So there's another one. And they just keep happening. Those aren't really big, but those two bigger ones I've already shown you, the M-class flares. When they get to be that big, you know, we could talk about radio blackouts, and that's exactly what we experienced yesterday. And that did happen, so, yeah. Now, I'm going to show you the 131 view here also, and what this is going to do, this is going to show you what happens to the camera when these flares happen, or to the tool that's on there taking these images. Watch when it flares, you're going to get it's going to look like it statics out. Watch. It'll happen here in just a second as this rotates through. It'll go back. See that? And it'll do it again. Those were those two M-class flares. So, what I'm saying is, that's how fast the X-ray gets here. Here and gone 8 minutes. That simple. Well, if they get here and they can get into our atmosphere and things, it might hang around for a minute. But it ionizes the top part of our atmosphere, right? And that's what gives you basically the radio blackout type of situation. And a lot of other things can happen. But as you can see, when we get these flares, I'm going to try to back it up. See that? I know you guys can see that. I know I say see that. Obviously you do. But there you go. So that's what's happening. The camera's getting overexposed, basically. And it's causing it to read it that way. So, and that'll happen with every bright flash. I mean, you can actually reproduce that with a camera yourself. It's not something that's not known, but that's definitely what that is. And I get questioned a lot on how big these things are. Well, you could probably fit. This is just a guess, 10 to 15 Earths in that area right there. Okay. So that's how big the sun is. It's really what you're saying there, how big the sun is. But it also shows you how big the flare is in relation to how big our planet is. So yeah. So we'll hit the earthquake situation for a second. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time here. There is quite a bit of action going on with earthquakes lately. I think all of us have been kind of looking at it ever since the volcanic eruption over there on the Canary Islands. I know there's been a lot of discussion about it. Remember, the Canary Islands are over here, and that's why they were talking about a tidal wave, and I went over that, right? And again, I'm not the earthquake guy, right? But I can show you where earthquakes are at. I can show you the current conditions and stuff like that. So that's what I'm going to do. We did have a substantial one here in Alaska last night. It was early this morning. So what you're looking at there is a 6.1. It was, yeah, it's a decent sized one, but it's out here where nobody's really at. Obviously, if you see the tidal wave box here, you always click on it just to make sure. I will say this, 9 times out of 10, you're not going to have any tsunami issue. Okay? But you always check it. They don't always put that box there. Okay? With it being out over the water and all that kind of thing, they will put that there, especially if it's a 6 or above. If it's anywhere close to water, they typically will put that there just so people can click on it and say, hey, nothing's going on. Right? So, yeah. So there's that. Now, to the cool stuff. We're going to go play with the cool kids for a minute. Alright. So, the picture I showed you guys in the thumbnail, didn't it look like a volcanic eruption? Tell me it didn't. Well, it wasn't. You know what that was? It was lightning. They call it a gigantic jet, right? And it reaches all the way up into our ionosphere, which is the highest part of our atmosphere, right? Way like 50 some miles in the air, right? But when you look at this, and first thing, let me give credit to these guys. Obviously, this is spaceweather.com. Take you guys here almost every video. But I want to give special credit here to Frankie Lucena. Is it Cerna? Is there an R in there? Nope, Lucena. Okay. But he got this from Puerto Rico. He lives in Puerto Rico. So what's happening is there's a thunderstorm offshore. He's like hundreds of miles away from this thing. And this is where you guys have to be. Well, thanks, Rip. Appreciate you, buddy. I don't think the ring's going to blow right this second. I hope not. He's talking about the Ring of Fire, guys, if you guys didn't know. Yeah. Yeah, if you haven't checked out Rip's channel too, guys, please. It's preparedness. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. It's crazy how much people don't. That's what I'm calling crazy. Because you gotta do something, man. I mean, even if it's just for a snowstorm. I mean, have some food, have some batteries, something. I'm just saying. But if you want some good prepping advice and how to really be prepared for anything, really, but even for a bigger event, smaller events, whatever, my opinion, hands down, the best channel to go to would be Rip. Rip Curl Readiness is his channel. Rip, obviously, buddy, you can put your link in there, man. So, anyway, this came from Frankie Lucerna, and that's what this is. It's a giant plasma shooting straight up, I believe. Yep, the gigantic jet plasma. That's plasma, guys, shooting from the top of a thunderstorm up. What you're seeing at the top here, I'll tell you what. I don't want to spend too much time showing this because I think people need to go over there and see it. You know what I mean? These guys did the work. I just want people to get credit. I just want to show it to you where to go see it, okay? I don't want to show you the whole kit and caboodle where you guys can go over here and check it out. Links in the description, by the way. I always do that. But that's what you're seeing. These are very, they look similar to sprites when they first happen. And those of you who don't know what sprites are, they're essentially the same thing as this, but they are... it's Aurora and stuff like that that's involved and all that. I mean, we're not going to get into all those things, but not tonight anyway. But yeah, but there's actually, they got 2 different types of these, and they didn't start getting these really photographed until just a few years ago. So if you scroll down over here at spaceweather.com, you can go down here and really dig into this and figure out what's going on. I mean, you can see this is where he was at. This is where the gigantic plasma jet happened. So you have to be back far enough away from the thunderstorm to see it happen over top of the thunderstorm, unless you're in a plane. And they even talk about that. People here that are in the plane, like if they catch this in a plane, it really scares them, takes them off guard. They're not expecting the lightning come from beneath, but that's what happens. But they say, they call it morphology. And what that is, basically, it's a different shape that something takes as it's happening. And this one here was a carrot morphology. And I'm going to explain just a little bit on what that is. Okay? So as you, right here, they got a tree and a carrot is what they call it. This one here, obviously, they're calling it that because it looks like a tree without no leaves. Right? But if you go, and they got different ones here too. See a GJ2, Gigantic Jet 2, 4, 6, 7. This one was a 12. So they say it looks more like a carrot for obvious reasons. You see it? It looks like a carrot with its little green stems. It's kind of crazy. Are you guys hearing? Okay. I just want to make sure. Yeah, when I hear audio stuff, I'm sorry, guys. I might have been pushing something. My mouse is kind of close to my microphone. Hold on a second. Let me move that over. Maybe that'll help. Sorry. But isn't that pretty cool, guys? I mean, I just thought that was awesome. I mean, I've heard of these and I've seen them before. Not with my own eyes. But, yeah. I would really encourage you guys to go over to spaceweather.com and give them some love, number one. Number two, click on this too. It's not hard. I mean, they do such a great job. They include links right here in their article, right in the text. That's all you got to do is push it. Right? So if you want to know what the ionosphere is, they've even got that. And what this is going to do is take you to a Wikipedia page, probably. Yeah. So it tells you what the ionosphere is. And it gives you, over here at Wikipedia, obviously, that is what it is. I'm not going to even go there with Wikipedia. But, yeah. And here's Tropical Storm Peter. And there's some good science behind solar weather affecting the development and the strength of these hurricanes. We've seen it time and time again now. You get a solar flare on that side. And when if the flare happens when the hurricane or that area of the storm system is facing the sun, these things will almost every time immediately intensify. Sometimes it'll even cause it to go ahead and start to develop. Guys, it's juicing up the atmosphere. That's what happens when we're getting hit. So it's kind of crazy. But yeah. Oh wow, Tommy, I didn't know that. That's a big deal over there for sure. He's talking about CERN, a word that we can't say for obvious reasons. Well, it's not obvious to everybody, but we don't say that when we're doing videos because there's so many. We know why. Anyway, there are hundreds of colliders all over the planet. The one we were just talking about just happens to be the most popular and most promoted one. Okay? That's why it gets talked about. A lot of people forget that. There's a bunch of them. So when they're doing their thing, they're doing their thing. It doesn't have to be right at that collider. So things can happen, and they do sometimes cause earthquakes and all that. I mean, come on. I mean, we're talking about doing some intense stuff. I mean, really. Intense stuff. So, but yeah. So what do you guys think about that? Ain't that pretty cool? I just thought that was awesome. Man. So, noctilucent clouds, nothing going on there. They're talking, see this CME1 and CME2 here on LASCO C3. Those did pop off, but they're pretty much going to the south of Earth. Even if they were coming right at us as far as longitudinal, latitudinal, which would be horizontal. If they're just kind of angled towards the bottom of us, towards the south. Okay? I'm not going to play that. Again, guys, please go give them some love. They really do. They deserve all the traffic they can get. But here is a near-Earth object list. Again, nothing really popping here either. Again, what's LD mean? That's the distance. That's lunar distance. Okay? That is the distance between us and the moon. That's how they map these. They had to come up with some sort of measurement so they could put a value on it, so they could, people could communicate back and forth with it and understand what they were saying. It's much like, what's an astronomical unit? That's the distance between us and the sun, which is roughly 93 million miles. So when you hear those terms, that's what they're talking about. Lunar distance, astronomical, distance, astronomical mile. I'm not sure they might call it astronomical mile. Yeah, duh. Come on, man, get off of it. I'm squirreling right now. Sorry, guys. I haven't really felt the best either, guys. I've been sleeping quite a bit today, but yeah. Anyway, that is what it is. Dealing with my sick daughter and everything. Things are just, my head's just kind of spinning a little bit. But, yeah. So that's what you're talking about there with distance. If you ever see the letters R-E, okay, and they're talking about distances in space, reverse that in your head, and it'll say E-R. What they're telling you is that's Earth radius. Okay? It's the radius of the Earth. That's the measurement they're using. ISWA uses it on their magnetopause models. I'm not going to take you over there right now. But that's the distance they use to plot those. But those are just terms that you really will, you'll start retaining that information the more you look at it. Okay? So that's why I keep saying it over and over and over and over again. Because, when you say something, your human brain works like this. When you say something 14 times, that's actually the magic number for you to completely remember it. Just dig into that a little bit, little research there, and that'll tell you. You say it 14 times out loud, you'll remember it. Whether or not you can bring it back up in the forefront very quickly, but that is like the magic number they use. So keep that in mind. There is something. Think about how when we were kids, or even now, when you were in school studying for a spelling test. Why do you think they made you write those things so many times? That's why. So, I mean, we can relate it right back to that. I mean, everything kind of goes back to all those things. All the things that we thought were stupid when we were kids and had really nothing to do with anything, actually did. You can learn a lot just by repeating yourself and looking at the information. And I know we all know this, but sometimes we just kind of forget about it. So, but anyway, so you guys got any questions for me? I really don't have much else to show you tonight. I really just wanted to pop on and give you guys this one. What we got? 36 minutes? Not too bad. Not too shabby. So yeah, guys, if you want to, got any questions for me, pop them in there to me. But, other than that, guys, listen, go over to, the lifeboat, like I said at the beginning of the video, and give it a try. Just try it. That's all I can say. I want to get everybody over there as much as I can. I think it's a great, great thing for everybody. You don't have to be an addict. You don't have to. I've actually had people say that to me already. I'm not an addict. I'm not, I don't know anybody that's in my, close that's going through recovery or anything. But they came back to me and said, hey, I'm still getting something from it. And that's what I'm saying. We can all learn. And that's, at the very least, that's what you'll do. You'll learn about this life, period, as far as living your best one. So please go over there and check that out. I do also want to give a shout out to Mark Pires too, guys. Guys, please go check him out too. He is definitely doing some great positivity work over there. He is definitely, always been doing his thing since, gosh, guys, I've been talking about Mark for a long time. Me and Mark are friends, and you guys know that. And that's what I'm saying. He writes improv music right on the spot. He's probably one of the best celebrity impressionists that I know. That I've seen or whatever. He can almost do it like right away. It's kind of amazing when you watch it. He's funny. He was a runner-up in the VH1 Song of the Year. I think it was 2006 or 7, something like that. I can't remember the exact year. But he, yeah, I mean, his song was played on, remember the show MTV Real World, the original reality show? That was his song. So, and now, you know, he's got 3 kids. He runs a real estate business, and he's doing the YouTube thing. So, guys, I mean, and it's all about positivity. You're not going to get negativity over there. That's just not something that anybody wants to be around. And that's why I'm pushing you over to him and to Tommy's channel. And to everybody. It's all positive stuff. I'm not going to send you to somebody that's going to call you names, going to make you feel like you're ridiculous or any of that kind of stuff. Nobody needs to feel that way. That's not what we come here to YouTube for. I'm not going to give you homework to go do. I'm not going to, you know what I mean? As far as like, if I might say to you, hey guys, you know, for some homework, go look at that for a second, come back to me. You know, I'm not, that's nothing, not like that. But I'm not going to sit here and like beat that in your head. Like you have to have a certain level of knowledge already before you can come and ask me questions. I'm not like that. And I think that the people I just talked about there, Mark and Tommy both, are like that. So, you know, they're like me. And I just won't do it. I won't beat people down. I can't get myself to do that. I really can't. I just don't see how it's productive. I don't see how anything gets accomplished. So, holy cow! Did you guys hear that? I'm just curious. Did you guys hear that? There was a big truck going down my street with a huge flat tire. That was crazy. Wow. So yeah. What's up, Carolyn? Good to see you. Hey, Jackie, what's up? Vance, Phi, Bird, what's up? Suzy Q, Denise. You did hear that, did you? Yeah, hey, Joanne. But yeah, hey, Sharon. Surgery 68. Hey, I've had about 68 surgeries. Tell you that. Hey, I seen Jerry at the end of Tommy's live stream. I'm not sure if Jerry's in here right now. He's here a lot. Hey, Pam, what's happening? Pamela. Sorry, I don't like to abbreviate people's names unless they tell me that's what they want. Hey, Scott from Oz. Follow the yellow brick road, Joanna. That's what Scott just told you to do. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. Vance is in the house. Did you hear that too? Hey, Jerry, what's happening, man? Virginia. Hey, anybody here right now? Type in where you're from. I'd like to know. Just curious. I mean, just regional. It doesn't have to be something specific. I'd really like to see where you guys are all from. I think that's cool. I mean, I can go look at my analytics, but I don't know who is where, right? Hey, Jacob, what's up? Oh, wow. Hey, Marble Mom. Nevada, heck yeah, that's where, well, Tommy's up in, I think he's northern Reno, I think, right, Tommy? Into what you said? North Dakota. Ohio. PA, New Mexico, Connecticut, Carolina, Wisconsin, Indiana. Hey, I'm a fellow Hoosier, that's for sure. Ask me what a Hoosier is, I'm going to say somebody from Indiana. That's what I'm going to say. Because I think that's actually the definition. I could be wrong, but I don't know. And Michigan, that's right. Ohio. Hey, you know what? I married my wife. I live, here in Indiana, so I was able to meet my wife in Ohio, is where she's from. And, yeah, we used to joke with each other. She'd call me a Hoosier. Like, she'd ask me, what is a Hoosier? You know, start making fun of me or whatever. I said, well, I can tell you what a Buckeye is. It's a worthless nut. You can't do nothing with them. I mean, honestly, I don't mean that like towards you guys. That's a joke that me and my wife do with each other. So thought I'd share that with you. Yeah, I mean, yeah. And unless you're talking about candy, you know. Yeah, you are, aren't you, Axe? You're a hoser, eh? That's right, guys. That's right. But yeah, I love like peanut butter Buckeyes. Those things are awesome. My wife makes them every year at Christmas time. It's all right, Little Red. You're all right. Hey, I get it. I mean, it is what it is. Australia's in the hizzy. I got quite a few people over from down under. Love all my Aussies. I love all you guys, but yeah. Oh, Doc. What's up, Tim? What you think of Solar Cycle 25? You know, the jury's still out on that one, guys, just so everybody understands. You know, there's actually some disagreement, even in the mainstream science community. They will tell you that some of them are going to say that this is going to be a really, really strong sun cycle. Others will tell you that it's not. But the stuff that I've seen and from my own observation comparing back, it does seem like we are a little bit heavy on the solar activity for being such in an early spot of the sun cycle. Now, again, I mean, that's just going off of looking at very limited data. Again, guys, I didn't go to, I don't have any extra education on this stuff. It's something that I've just been able to try to pick up myself. There you go. Washoe County in the house. Everybody say hi, Little Red. She ain't been in here in the chat for a minute. We've been missing her, that's for sure. What's up, Mark? But yeah. Hey, Susie Q. Anna. Hey, girl, what's up? Jacob. Yeah. So that's my opinion on the solar cycle, guys. And I think, we talked about before the termination event. And that when they put a word like termination with something, typically people will go straight to catastrophism and catastrophes happening, the day after tomorrow, 2012, all that stuff. That's not what they're talking about when they're talking about a termination event on the sun. And I went over that, okay? And just so you guys understand, because I don't want you guys to hear that and get scared of that, because it's not really what it is. Matter of fact, when it happens, we most likely won't even know. What will happen if it does happen, it will jumpstart the solar cycle and it will make things more intense. Okay, basically it's where the north and south meet at the equator of the sun magnetically. They call it a termination event, and there's a lot of stuff involved there, obviously. And there's a lot of science with the sun, guys. And there's a lot of things about the sun we just simply don't understand yet. They just sent that, well, not just, but they sent the Parker probe out there, the Parker SP probe, the satellite that's out there now. They said, hey, we're going to kiss the sun. And that's exactly what it did. It was able to get into the corona and take readings and stuff for like the first time. And because they're trying to understand why the corona is hotter than the surface. Wrap your brain around that one for a minute. Yeah. So that's the truth, though. The surface of the sun is actually cooler than the corona. Now, I have to say, I worked in printing. Now, I don't know. I'm sure that they've thought about this, because I don't want to put myself out there like I have any kind of authority on this. But I did work in a printing environment, right? What did we use to cure the ink? Well, we used UV. All right, where's UV? Obviously the sun puts out extreme ultraviolet and all those kinds of things, right? We would run machines at 600 parts a minute, and it would cure them almost instantaneous. That's how strong the UV bulbs that we used were. All right, they would spin, and the bowls would go on a mandrel, and they would, without showing you a picture of it, it's hard to explain. But once it gets the ink on it, it's ejected onto a mandrel. Well, it's actually on the mandrel first, and it spins, and then it goes into a position where it's still spinning, where UV is blasting it. You can pick that part up right out the back of the machine, right after it does it. That's how dry it is. Matter of fact, most of the time you can grab it and take your thumb and rub on it real hard, and the ink won't even come off at all. So what I'm saying is that it's an awesome technology, but I say that to say this. When our the bulbs were over $500 a piece, okay, and they weren't really all that big in size. They were just real powerful. But they were surrounded with reflectors. Now, when a bulb started going bad, instead of just, yanking it out, and, obviously when the bulb starts going bad, the ink doesn't dry right. And you would get what they called ink inside. Because the bulbs would nest inside each other as they came out the back of the machine. So if the bulb was going bad, the ink was wet. And it would put ink inside that bulb. And it's all food grade ink, okay? So, but the customers did not like that. So we had to, make sure we took care of that. And, when the bulb would go bad, we would just simply go in there and adjust the reflectors. And we could get it to get back up to where it was. We were, directing it to a focal point, which would be where the bowl's at. And, the more you move it around, you can kind of adjust and get things to where it's working again. And so I'm saying that because just because the source may not be all that strong doesn't mean that something external from that same source that's getting reflected to one spot can still be extremely strong. And I just wonder if they haven't thought about that. I don't know. Obviously, I don't see how you could reflect that energy back towards the corona naturally in the sun. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying there's a lot about the sun that we simply just do not understand yet. There's a lot about our planet, guys, right here. Go get in the water somewhere. We don't understand what's going on down there. Just saying. But how long we been going? 51? Okay. All right, guys. I think I am going to go ahead and pop off. I really do appreciate everybody showing up and checking this out. Please go over to the lifeboat. Check it out. It definitely is worth at least a look. And you will get the same thing. Hey, IG, what's happening? Oh, Gina had a question? Where you at, Gina? I seen okay. Just got here checked the hot spot on the earth do they see anything on the California, Oregon, Washington? It would be interesting. I just don't know where to go. You looking for hot spots? Is that what you're saying? Where do I go to look for that kind of a thing? Well, there is one place that I know to go to that we can look at. Actually, there's two now, but the windy.com, that one's still in beta, so I'm not going to bring that one up. But you can go over here to the DuPage site. There's a lot of different things that we can look at here. If you look over to the left, that's where the key's at. So let me, I'll bring that up. That's 200. That'll give you 200 frames. That way you can get the best look as you can. This is basically a satellite imaging, guys. Okay. So roll this back. Now, if you want to see heat, you can go to the infrared. We find it. Okay, here's the infrared IR imaging. And what were you asking about? What area? Up here? You said Oregon and California, or did you say Oregon, Seattle? I can't remember. California, Oregon. Okay. That would be here. What we'll do is we'll zoom in a little bit and see if we can't see it. See if we can't get you an answer. See if we see anything. That's current. Okay. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think they would show up almost like a little red dot. If I'm on the right view. I'm not seeing a whole lot. You see these darker areas? A lot of times you're going to see forest fires out here. Okay? Just so everybody knows. That's shortwave IR. I just don't know where else what other viewpoint we can look at. Here's long wave. We can take a look at that. See if that gives us anything. What you're seeing there, guys, is the sun up and sun down. Okay? Let's see here. I think if we look at the visible blue, I think sometimes it'll show up on here, and I think, or even visible red. That's what we'll look at. I remember other people showing this, and it'd be like a red dot. Here's where you look at the wildfires. You see this right here? Watch right here where my cursor's at. See that? You know what that is? That's a wildfire. That's smoke. Okay, and over here, same thing. See it billowing up right there? What I'll just back out a little bit. How about that? You can really see it when we look at this view. 100%, you can see it better on this view. Promise. So obviously this is California. You guys see this? That is a big fire. See it? Yeah, Rick. Thanks, Ricky, for that. I'll check that out a little bit later. I've never been there, so I don't want to go there and try to navigate it. We can try. Give me a second. Maybe we'll go try that real quick. Let's try this one. So yeah, you guys can clearly see that fire. I mean, it's easy to see. Look at that. And when you get volcanoes blowing, you can see them there too, guys. What's your question, Sharon? Sorry. I must have missed it. I'm sorry. Hey, Matthew. Good to see you in here, buddy. Hey, guys. You guys need to go over to Matthew's channel, too. He does a 24-hour live feed over there where it toggles through a bunch of different tools, a bunch of different views from around the planet. It's great stuff. Back at you, Tommy. Back at you, brother. Guys, you really need to check out Matthew. I'm serious. I think I showed you guys his channel once before. But yeah, please go check it out. Awesome job over there. Honestly, one of the best formats I've seen. Please check it out. You won't be sorry. I'm telling you. Guys, when I say go check somebody out, I honestly actually mean it, okay? I know some other people just do it to try to be nice and this and that. That ain't me. If I'm going to tell you guys to go check somebody out, I want you to go check them out. Okay? Not just because you're welcome, man. You deserve it. Yeah. Doing okay, Ashley. Good to see you. Ain't seen you in a minute either. Seen a lot of people ain't been in here in a minute. At least made it till live anyway. Hey, George. Really? You ain't seen the sun, George? Wow. From the fires? I'm assuming. Yeah, I mean, that's, and this is something that they deal with a lot out there. Anybody who lives on the West Coast knows this. And anybody that doesn't know it. I mean, honestly. I missed you guys too, guys. I really did. I mean, I want everybody to come hang out and, build that connection. And I think that's why, I trust you guys, and that's why you guys probably trust me. And that's why when I have to say this, when I push you guys to somebody's channel, I don't want to say push, okay? So I'm suggesting. I'm not, you don't want to, okay. I'm not going to get mad at you. I get it. But what I'm saying is I'm not going to say somebody's name if I don't, believe in what they're saying, doing, any of that kind of stuff. I might say, hey, go check them out, this or that, to give you guys the other side of what I think. As far as maybe I don't agree with some people, but I still want you guys to be able to compare. I might do that, but it's not, I won't be saying anybody's name to get everybody over there for, if I don't, like them, I guess, or like their information. And I've shown you guys my subscription list before. It's there. I don't hide it, right? And there's stuff, hey Mark, what's up? And there's channels on there that I know some of you guys wouldn't think that I would be subscribed to. Because some of these people have actually dogged me straight up and down online. With some, called me names, and all kinds of crazy stuff. And the majority of them that have done that, they have never personally spoke to me. It's crazy. If I'm trying to correct somebody in a way that's going to be productive, I'm probably going to try to talk to them first before I just come out and start blasting. Because sometimes people are just making a mistake, and if you show them new data or correct data, sometimes they change their opinion if you do it with respect. Okay? So, when you look at my subscription list, don't think that I like the people doing all of them in there. But I do think that a lot of the information that they're putting out, you can still find some good stuff there. That's why I leave it there. It would make me kind of, I don't know. What would that make me if I was like, I guess at some level, it'd make you kind of narcissistic. Because you wouldn't, that you're not wanting anybody says something bad about you, you just kind of discount them. No matter if the information they're giving you is good stuff. Basically what I'm saying is, these guys don't know me. I don't know them. And I'm not talking about people like Tommy and everybody else in here. I'm talking about the channels that sometimes will come at me or whatever. And again, guys, if you guys start a channel, any of you guys, I don't care who you are, that's going to happen. There's no doubt about it. Especially if you start like a political channel. You start a political channel, you know what you're doing? You're immediately, especially in our country, immediately 50% of the population is going to love you. But you want to know what else? 50% of the population is going to hate you. So you got to understand that it's just the way that it is. So, and I even allow people to come on here and come at me as long as it's respectful. And sometimes even if it's not respectful, I'll leave it there, because what it does is, at the end of the day, it shows how much of an idiot they are. If you want me to really take in consideration what you're saying, don't disrespect me while saying it to me. It's just not going to happen. I'm just going to shut down. That's right, Matthew. 100%. I mean, it is. It's a part of life. And believe me, guys, I would be sitting here straight up lying to you if I told you that when I see things like that it didn't bother me at all. Because it does. I'm a human being, right? So when those things are coming at you, it doesn't feel good. I'm sorry. It just doesn't. But it doesn't control the way I react to it. And that's where you win the battle. It's how you react to that. So, For sure, Matthew. That's awesome, man. I mean, what a perspective. For those that don't have the chat up right now, Matthew says, I've been on a hit list from a terrorist organization in Iraq. Not going to be worried about someone keyboard threatening me. How much more down to earth do you have to get for that? I mean, come on. That's just crazy. I mean, that's what I'm saying. And that's the thing. You know, all those words I just said right there, 3 or 4, that's how bad it is out here on social media. 3 or 4 of those words I just simply spoke out there into the ether right there could really get what happens is it hits the algorithm. The algorithm don't like those words. That's why when you go over and watch Marfugel, that's why he's using code words for like the country over there that Mr. Where we had our war in the Gulf, right? And then what else did you say there? Oh, yeah, the T word. Terrorist. Anytime you say that word, that automatically just hits that algorithm. I mean, instantaneous. It's crazy. Yes, Matthew, thank you for your service, man. I think I told you that over on your channel one time. I appreciate anybody that stands up and wants to fight for me. I don't care. I don't care if people say that, what are they fighting for? Well, they're fighting for you. It isn't necessarily about politically stuff, guys. It's just not. And again, I get it. I really do. I understand all points of view there. And, and at some level, I actually kind of agree, sometimes what are we actually doing? But at the end of the day, people like that step up like Matthew has and went over there, that doesn't take away from what he's done. He is sacrificing, is what he's doing. And we should appreciate that at whatever level. Just saying. So thank you, Matthew. And anybody else that serves and has served. But this isn't a political channel, so I'm not going to get too more deep into that. But yeah. And let me tell you something, guys. Go north of the border. When Axe's comment popped up here, it made me think about that. Hey, Ashley, what's up? I didn't see you in here. But go up there and spend a couple days right now. See what happens. I don't think you can even get there, can you, Axe? Can you go back and forth on the border yet? I know they locked you guys back down for a minute. I don't even know. Watch with Wayne, too, guys. Go check him out on YouTube. He's up in Canada, and he does a lot of he does live streams and stuff and reports on stuff happening around the world. He used to show a lot of live streaming cameras, but YouTube really did not like it at all. So, but yeah, guys, I am going to go ahead and pop out. I really, I would hang out with you guys some more here. But, yeah, I have to admit, when I do these longer live streams, sometimes people just won't click on them because they're too long. And it is what it is. Well, thank you, sir. I appreciate that, Tommy. I really do. North Dakota or bust, huh? Good one, Ashley. Thanks, guys. I appreciate all the prayers. Hi, IG. I'm not sure if I said hi to you or not yet. So, yeah. Yeah, I love all you guys. I really do. I am going to go ahead and pop off here. And I know, listen, guys, I get it that people sometimes are just going to be hateful. So don't just, it's unfortunate because I actually had to ban somebody that I did not want to do. I didn't want to do it. This person had been with me for a long time, and he called me some of the most disgusting names that I have heard in a long time. If it had just been him saying his piece without all that vulgarity, I probably wouldn't have done it. But I had to. And I didn't have a choice. I couldn't leave it there. I mean, it was nasty. So I just kind of let it go. It does make me sad. I mean, because I really liked him. But I ain't got a choice with that, guys. I don't know what else to do. I just don't know how else to handle it. Because it does make me feel bad. It really does. But anyway, guys, I am going to get off here for like the 12th time I've said that. So, God bless. Yahusha saves. You could drink this Kool-Aid.